Hi, this is Todd Loy Henry. I wanted to take a moment to, actually a couple of moments to share my morning routine, with people and how basically what I do is I start my day by consuming content that I then schedule for distribution throughout the day. And it all starts with a device like a humble iPod Touch. You don't need a big iPad, to do something like this. Um, a mobile device with an internet connection is fine. It can be an iPhone, it can be an iPod Touch, it can be an Android tablet. It really doesn't make any difference because the key application that we want to use is called Feedly. And Feedly is a place where I put together all of the sites, sources, searches, and someday maybe information that I want to consume, that I'm interested in tracking. And one of the things that's, really interesting to me about Feedly is that they have some kind of algorithm at work that bubbles up stories based on popularity. And I can go into my virtual newspaper, which has topics that are only interesting to me. Okay, this is my personal news corp. I am my own Rupert Murdoch. I can bring together the things that are interesting to me, and I can simply go through this content on uh, a time-based. In other words, what are the most recent pieces of content that have come into my system, or I can go to the Home tab and I can flip through here. And as I see interesting things, I've got a choice. If the content is easy to consume on the device, I might dig a little bit deeper. But usually what I do is I just press down my thumb for 1 second, and you see the box pop up that says saved. And I go through these articles, and I'm just looking for interesting content. I'm a big fan of infographics, so I'm always looking for good ones. I have a design section. I have a section about WordPress. I have a section about search engine marketing and search engine optimization. I have a news section. And then I have a section um, for French, German, and Spanish for a couple of different reasons. I try to keep in touch with my waning, okay, with my waning, I'm going to have to look at that later, um, my waning language skills. And now look what happened. I just flipped through about, I don't know how many sections I have in my virtual newspaper, but when I get to the bottom, see what Feedly is doing is presenting these to me like 10 at a time in each section. So I get to the bottom and it tells me that I reviewed 69 articles in that short period of time. I read one, I tapped through to one and read all the way to the bottom and I saved three. I hit refresh and I go back up to the top again. And so this is how I read my news. Now, is this unscientific? Yep, it is. Um, but I'm counting a little bit on a couple of basic ideas here. First of all, I'm tracking excellent content, and I let it bubble up using the technology. So some of what I find, is it serendipitous? Yes. But is it planned serendipity? Yes. Okay. So again, I just flip through 66 articles and I refresh and I start over again. And so this is how I read my news. Or actually, let me be a little bit more specific. This is how I consume content. And I'm a big fan of what I call context-based computing. And what I mean by that is that just because you can do everything on an iPod doesn't mean that you should. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to the desktop. And there I'm going to process the content and see how I can use it in my content marketing workflow. So I don't try to do everything on the iPod, but rather what I do is I use the iPod um, 23 hours out of the day. And that's a rough estimate. Otherwise, I could be sitting at the desktop, doing this kind of stuff all day long. And I have to limit myself to 1 hour in the morning, usually the best hour of the day, where I sit down and have some coffee and go through content and decide how I'm going to use it in my content marketing. So let's stop here and switch over to the desktop.